Hi, Kimberly. Okay, welcome in. Listen, if you have a question, go ahead and type it into the chat or leave a comment. I want to know what questions. That's all I'm here to do is just answer questions for you. You can also let me know what cities you may be in. That way I can know, hey, how to address the question, whether you're in Texas, Georgia, Florida, Northwest, Northeast, Southwest, Southeast, Middle America, Plain States. That's all we're doing today is just answering questions. So don't be shy. Get your questions in there. All we're doing today, once I have my team come in, we'll talk about how to make your first $100 too. Talk about that too as well. First $100. So it's 5:01. We'll get started in just a minute or so. See what questions we have. Hey, Geraldine. Now Geraldine's on my team, so she's aware of the $100 that we're doing just for taking photos, just for using your phone. Let's see, I sent you a new link. Hopefully we have a special guest too who is also on our team coming in, and he'll talk to you. He just got started. We're going to talk to you guys about how my team is making money. We don't charge for training. There is no charge for training, so people are getting started without having experience. That's how I got started. Somebody gave me a chance that was really life-changing for me 4 years ago. So I don't see any questions yet, but I'm ready for you. So type in the question. Let's start there. What questions you have? We just have time for 4 questions. So as you come in, if you have a burning question, go ahead, type that into your comments. All right, and then so what we'll do is we'll take 2 questions, and then I'm going to talk about how to make $100 without any experience. Even if you don't have a license, you can still make money in this industry. I also go over how we train, and then we'll talk about how to get started. So we'll start with those questions. I'm going to go through 2 questions. Hi to Kimberly. There's Kay. Kay's here finally. Let me turn this music off. It's a little distracting for me. Kay, how you doing?
Hi, doing good.
Good. So today we're going to tell people about the making $100 doing property inspections. And we'll also talk about our training, how we don't charge for training. And we'll also even talk about, you working how our work works. So listen, you're going to get free training. Okay. You're not going to be paid to train because it costs me money to train. Any hour out my day is money out my pocket. So I am going to be showing you that, there's an alternative way to get adjusting without experience. Kay, you started with no experience, right?
Correct. I did not know very much at all, and it does take some practice, but you learn a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So Kay and I work on the same. Now Kay also lives in Georgia, but she lives like 3 hours away from me.
Yeah.
Close to the Georgia line. So, okay, any exam prep? Here's our first question. Now, remember, we got time for 4 questions. Okay, I told them I'm gonna do 2 questions. Then we'll go over the how they can make their first $100, and then we'll finish with 2 questions. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm okay. I'm trying to figure out how I can have access to the controls. I think I have to sign in, right?
Yeah, you do. You do.
Yeah, keep on talking. I'll figure it out.
All right, so let's see. Here's a question here from Kimberly Pickett. It says, any exam prep courses that you recommend? Well, what state do you live in, Kimberly? Did you let us know? Because different states have different courses. All right, so here's another. This isn't a question, so we're not going to ask this or answer this, but we just want to thank Mark for letting us know he has his Texas and Florida license. Any advice? And really for Texas and Florida, those are states that I don't work in. So we may not have any advice for Mark today. All right. So James said, how do you get experience? Which we'll go over in just a bit. Mark said he worked as an independent claims adjuster for a year or so. Well, what's going on, Mark? Why aren't you working now? Or maybe you are working now. What's going on? You worked for a year. You got experience. Tell me more. Let's see. Nisi J. Oh, Kimberly's in Georgia. So in last question, I'm gonna ask Kimberly, do you want an in-person class or an online class fine for you? Robin S has the same question. Which course do you recommend? Well, are you mean for to get your license, or what do you mean? You want Xactimate training? What are you thinking about? So Mark said, I was working for someone who was the lead on the claims. Well, I don't know what that means. Were you the claim handler, or was somebody else the claim handler? Because that's also 2 different things. Kimberly Pickett says, I'm taking Adjusters Pro. I don't recommend them because I failed to use an Adjusters Pro. And Geraldine is in there too. And Renee needed to get some help. All right.
I got Chuck on the other end. He couldn't get in because I sent him the wrong one too.
All right. So here's what we got, everybody. Listen, I don't go by weeks. Okay. I go by 10 days. So that's why we do these every 10 days. Okay. Right. So look, I sleep, I go to the gym, and I work. I do adjusting. I train. There's Chuck. And then I also do like YouTube, and I eat. I eat more than 15 minutes.
Okay.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay. We just don't know what we're doing because we're so new to this. But I don't see you. Now I don't see you.
Well, no, you're not going to see me at the moment, but we are live.
Okay.
Though. So what I'm showing people right now is, listen, I do want a few people to train, but I don't have a lot of time to train everybody. Okay. So I have about like 12 and a half hours at most to be able to train people. That's it. 12 and a half hours every 10 days. So that's less than 2 hours a day, right? So I just like to let people know this because, for me, an hour worth of training people is money out my pocket. That's $900 or so out of my pocket. So I want people to be able to know that, hey, listen, if you're going to come train on my team, there's going to be group training, and I need your dedication to show up, to have your materials ready, because I just don't have a lot of time to waste on there. Okay. So we answered a few questions, but I want to let people know, again, this is not a job. All I'm doing is training you to give you experience. That's it. I'm not going to charge you for training, but I'm not going to pay you. Okay. So nobody really wants to train new adjusters, because really when new adjusters come in, you're competition. That's why when you're looking at Facebook and older adjusters are saying, y'all can't do this and y'all not going to be able. I have a guy on YouTube. He hunts me. He doesn't hunt me because I don't care. But he's always slamming my videos, talking about I can't get up on roofs and I can't work as an adjuster because I'm a woman. He's saying that, but he knows that I'm coming after his work. I'm going to be scrupulous to his work. Okay.
Right.
So, Chuck, you started with Metro. How did you find the opportunity?
An old friend of mine had told me about it, who was considering going in, and so I just kind of followed through on the tip that she gave me, and the rest is history.
Okay. What did you like best about the opportunity?
Well, the thing about it is the ability to be able to work from home, because that's going to be important to me right now. And then down the road, when I become mobile, then maybe I can get out to do some things. But at the moment, I'm kind of stuck at home.
Yeah. Where do you live?
Washington, D.C.
Okay. And did you do the photo inspection training?
I started with it. We had like a family emergency that interrupted everything.
Right. I heard about that.
Yeah, and so we're about a week out from getting beyond that.
Okay, gotcha.
Because my sister wants to get in. I have a niece that wants to get in, and they were also all involved with this emergency that we had.
I understand. So, did you have any experience when you started? Oh shoot.
Chuck. Oh, there we go.
There you go. Go ahead, Chuck.
And so,
what'd you say? Did you have any experience getting started?
No. The closest thing I've had to anything dealing with insurance was I was in the auto industry. I sold cars. I was a finance manager. I was licensed to sell, life and health insurance on deals, but they stopped doing that in the state of Maryland where I was working. So, but that's the closest to any insurance issues that I've ever, had to deal with.
Okay, cool. So listen, all you have to do with this is the form that Chuck was saying that he was starting. Once you get your email in here, put your name, you put your Metro ID. Now, only a few people are going to get a Metro ID. Anybody that I can't train, Kay will work with training. And then you put the address in there and you hit next. And then you have a video, so welcome video. There's some current policy and supporting documents that you'll need to add, which I already did. You can see it's a policy here. You can add more files if you want to, then you hit next. And then we get a video like this to watch. Oh, I can't do full screen. It's going to be so hard. So we're literally teaching you how to stand outside, and he's going to move over to the right. I'm going to mute him. He's going to move down his driveway. And yes, you can do this on your own home and get $100. You don't need somebody to tell you when to come work. You don't need somebody to tell you to pray for a storm, which I always actually tell people to do. Tell you to pray for a storm. And you can go out there and do this yourself. I did this. I don't own a house, so I used my daddy's house. I used his friends' homes. We had somebody do 13 of these in 1 week. Guess how much they earned, y'all?
Oh yeah, I remember.
How much did they earn?
He earned $100. He earned $1,300.
Right, within the week.
Yep.
Okay.
Within the week. I remember my first job out of college. I was making $1,200 every 2 weeks. Okay. That's after taxes, and you don't get taxed on this, okay? Because we're going to put it as a training reimbursement. So you get to use that, and just keep looking at the video. You can see him looking up. You can see him looking down. He's not being lazy about his photos either, because sometimes people get in there and they just snap one picture. We want to teach you. This is it. We need qualified claims reps. We need qualified field adjusters to be able to know how to do this. So somebody like myself can be here working, and still there's work getting done on the outside as a field adjuster. Or you do this, then maybe we'll take you to the next step on how to read the policy. Right now, Renee, you had a claim at your own house. What happened?
Yes. Well, I've had two claims. I've had the roof claim, and I also had the flooring claim where the fireplace, a little bit of soot came out and burnt about 6 little teeny weeny spots on the floor. And I'm like, oh, that's not going to get paid. So I really wasn't concerned until I talked to Metro, and I talked to one of my upline, Paul Peck, and he kind of told me we can put a claim in for this. And I'm like, okay. And to my surprise, I got paid very well for those 6 little spots that was on my flooring. And they were little black, little teeny weeny dots. I couldn't believe it. So I was real happy about that. I said, okay, well, let me get into this daggone opportunity, because this seemed like this was easy. And I mean, I've been there since.
Right. So now here's the inside. And so it gives you an idea. This training gives you a way to understand. Like Renee said, she was paid really well for being able to identify damage. You can see Bill here, he's showing you how to look at the floor. I pulled up a rug one time that paid me very, very well and paid the homeowners very, very well. Okay. And people appreciate that extra step that you go through. You can see him here. He's showing you how to look up underneath the high windows, because those tend to have water come down, and I see that often. How to go inside the house. This is one of those layouts that have that bathroom right there. I hate sketching these out because it's really too many corners and not enough endpoints. So he's just walking through. This is how you do a home inspection. Now you got to turn your head a little bit here in this video, but it gives you instructions: floor in front of door, under any windows, minimum of 2 overviews, how to look at the back door. And then you just take the pictures and then you just move on to the next step. I mean, it's easy. People do these in like 15, 20 minutes. You get $100. So I got to go back to the audience to see who would be interested, or does it sound like something that you could do? Could you watch this video and learn how to take pictures of a home? So type that into the chat. I'm going to pause this. Let's see what other questions we may have from the audience. Okay, what do you got for questions? No, we had that one. We do not recommend Adjusters Pro. I think we went all the way down to, I can't even see the comments. What other comments you got? How do you get experience? This is one good way to get experience right here. Yep. Learning how to take the photos. Every adjuster takes photos. I don't care who you are, unless I guess you work at the desk only. But at that time, you got to learn how to review the photos, right?
Yep.
So this is a really great way to get experience. We provide free training. Keep going. We want questions. Anything that ends with a question mark. Now, Chuck, how old are you, and what did you do before you got into this?
I'm 68.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You don't look it.
Still got a full. Thank you. Still got a full head of hair. I was in the automobile industry. I was selling cars, and for the last 2 years, I was the caretaker for my father until he passed. So when the pandemic hit, we had a reduction in force. Unfortunately, I got swept up in that, but it was a blessing in disguise because my dad needed help.
I got you. Keep going, Kay, on those questions, because that's not a question there. Keep going. Let's see. We want questions. Go down to Good News Channel. And then from there, we'll have questions. If you, somebody said, you're muted, Kay. I'm not sure why.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mark does have a question. He says, I have my license in Texas and Florida. Any advice?
Yeah, I'm not giving like so much advice. Like I want to be able to answer like a question versus just giving general advice. And we really don't work in Texas and Florida, so I would say get some other licenses as advice.
Okay.
But yeah, what other questions are out there?
And you already answered the course question, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got that's one question we got down. Keep going, keep going.
Okay.
Down, down, down to Good News Channel. You see it? Do
Good
you
news.
do you recommend in class or online? I want to get my adjuster license. That's your personal preference. Which one do you prefer? What do y'all recommend?
Either or. I prefer either or. I mean,
I prefer the online just because I don't want to leave the house. I took America's Professor here. James Christopher also said America's Professor. Yeah, I liked America's Professor. I really liked the instructor. He gave really good examples that was relevant to the test, and I think it's because of those and the examples helped me understand the concepts very well. And I think that's why I passed my very first time.
Good. Yeah, I used Adjusters Pro and I did not pass my first time. So
Yeah.
that should help. What other questions? That's question two.
I really liked America's Professor. Okay, here's Good News Channel. I'm sorry.
Is this available in all states? Renee, what state should we be working in? Are we working
the
in?
states where we're Metro's licensed in. We are licensed in 47 states, but we don't do business in all 47 states because of the regulatory restraints. So yeah, you have to check with Metro, and we're all Metro. We're all Metro.
So yeah, you could just check with us.
Yep.
Now, if you hit that apply here, there is a link up there, a QR code.
Yep.
Next to K, you do that apply here and we'll get you in touch. I know there is somebody said that, do you have this opportunity in Illinois? So Renee.
Yes, we do.
She's the only one licensed out here on this call who's in Illinois. I'm in Georgia. Chuck is in DC. And you said, what did you do before this, Chuck? What was your career?
I was in auto sales.
Auto sales. Okay. Awesome. So this is a career you don't have to, not only do you not have to have experience, but most people come into this field as a second or third career.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Are drones allowed to be used for photos?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Great to know. All right. Let's see if there's one or two more questions that we have. So just to recap, while Kay is bringing up another good question, she's going to be searching to see if we have any other questions because we just answered that one.
We do have a few asking whose class do you recommend. We already talked about that. Here's one from Sherilyn, and I think we kind of answered this too about Florida. We do business in Florida, but there's just a lot of restrictions with Florida.
Mm-hmm. Florida is one of the hardest states. I rarely tell people, listen, if you could go with any other state before Florida, if you live in Florida, hey, that's the breaks. But if you could go with any other state before Florida, what was have you taken your test yet, Chuck?
Not yet, no.
Not yet? Okay, yeah. I know that some things happen, but it's just like Florida. I mean, you're going to have to do a course. Got to do the exam. There's 6 months that you may have to wait. And then Florida really ain't been hit. I mean, they got this one little issue that they have, but they really don't get hit, in my opinion. I don't think it's worth it. What else we got? Okay, Renee, read this for us.
Is this for adjuster with 6 months strong with pilot, but my background is 25 plus years construction, plus just got FEMA class certificate, but no actimate or assembly training, but I will drive to wherever.
Yeah, so I don't leave the house unless I want to, right? Chuck's just mentioned this is work from home. Kay works from home. Renee works from home. I work from home. If you want to be a storm chaser, this is not it to me. We work all year round. We don't wait on storms. Storm chasers, you're going to be out there for 3 or 4 years. I have a friend, he drove his van from Connecticut to the Midwest, back to the Northeast, down to Arizona, back up to the Midwest, over to
Wow.
Connecticut, down to back down to they had a storm or some hail damage in Oklahoma, and then he's down here in Georgia now. So he goes back and forth on all over. I barely leave I don't leave the house unless I really want to.
I got
And
a question for you. Is he making any money doing all this?
he's making not much as me.
Oh, wow.
But he's making some money. Yes, he is making six figures, but he did that. Any other questions that we can answer?
I have someone here from Louisiana. I don't remember if we do business in Louisiana.
I don't have a Louisiana license.
We don't.
Yeah. Louisiana is a really tough state. It's even worse than Florida.
Wow.
So is
Alabama.
Mm-hmm. Yep. What else we got? So how are the homes located for the inspections to earn $100? Well, you tell us where they're located if you want. They're located all over. Any house, every house could use this. Every single house could have this. Any house that you can get entry to, send us the $100. I don't care if it's your own home. We'll get you $100, I mean. And is this desk adjusting? So this is claims reposition that we all work from home. Renee's never been out to be on the roof. Kay doesn't go up on roofs. Chuck ain't going up on the roof. I used to go up on them. Sometimes I still do, but it just really depends. So it looks like, man, we would answer way more than 4 questions. What do y'all think?
Yes.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to leave? So if you are interested in more information, I recommend you applying there by taking your phone and just scanning that QR code. And once it's scanned, you'll have an opportunity to interview for a pre-interview presentation. Anybody who is located in like Virginia, Illinois, probably Renee will be in touch with you. Anybody in the DC area too. Chuck is on here because Renee is training Chuck. And Kay lives in Georgia, and I'm also here in Georgia. I'm licensed in a few other states. Where else are you licensed, Kay?
West Virginia, Kentucky, and Minnesota.
Oh, okay. Those are good. Those are juicy ones. I'm not, we're only licensed in Georgia together. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm in Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, the Carolinas, and Maryland.
Woo-woo, we are going for it.
Yeah, of course. So we appreciate. We're going to do this again on the 20th. And then we'll do this again on the 10th of March. So if you know somebody who's interested in starting and understanding that, hey, this is not a job. We are not giving you a job so you can do just as much work to not get fired or pay you less than what your worth is, right? That's what people do with the job. This is a career, not a job. So here's your next steps. Next show, that's the wrong date. Next show is February 20th. Don't like this, share it via social media, or you can do an SMM. And then you can also text us to learn more about what we do, but that apply now is probably the best way. Go ahead, schedule yourself a pre-interview presentation. So why not now? Why not you? Okay. You can make a great career of this with absolutely no experience. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming in today. Appreciate it. Everybody, see you guys.